What's going on, everybody out there? Week three is wrapped up after last night Monday night game. I wanted to get in here and give y'all the results of week three of the NFL. Before we go any further, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks to all the subscribers that got me over 200. I had 196. I gained 8 new subscribers of the week. Welcome to the channel. Each week, I will be breaking down the predictions on the NFL, and I'll come back in here Monday or Tuesday and give y'all the results after the week wraps up. And just quick little outtakes on what went wrong this week and some of the subjects that popped up during most of these games. So let's get right into it, man. Miami Dolphins and the Bills played on Thursday Night Football. I thought this was going to be a blowout. I thought Buffalo was going to blow them out the water. But Miami came. They had a little bit of energy. Divisional rivals, you can always expect the close games for the most part. It depends on who's playing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But as far as Miami and Buffalo goes, the game was going a little bit back and forth. Tua couldn't get Tyreek the ball too much, but once he finally got in a rhythm and got Waddle included as well, they started keeping up with the pack. Buffalo Bills, James Cook is a beast, man. They kept on feeding him the ball. If you can run the ball, run the ball. But you're going to also have some type of passing ability. If you don't have the passing ability, if the run is stopped and they're forced to pass the ball and you're not good at it, you're going to crumble. What I don't like about, like, I'm left-handed, so let's get that clear. It's not no disrespect to left-handed because I am left-handed, but seeing a left-handed quarterback, it looks so weird to me. Not knocking, like I said, I'm team left-hand, but the way Tua throws the ball, he turns his entire body to where he's throwing to. And to me, that's a dead giveaway of where the defense is going to go. If their eyes see you going and your whole body shifting to the left, they're going to start drawing to the left. And it takes a little bit of time for you to turn your whole body and find somebody else over there. So what happened this game was it was a close game, and came down to Tua about to tie the game up, and he threw a bad pick. He turned his whole body and threw directly to, I want to say, Bernard on the Buffalo Bills. But anyways, Buffalo couldn't hang in there. Miami couldn't hang in there. Buffalo was able to get out of there and home 31-21. Next game was the Cincinnati Bengals versus Minnesota Vikings. This is a topic, like, I'm always going to discuss like some of the topics that I deal with in my sports group. One of the people, it was a couple of people actually saying that with Joe Burrow down and with him being so overrated, that Browning looked good when he came in. And what I said was that, well, he's going to look good because if a quarterback get injured, it alerts the offensive line. Look, we've been letting this dude get hurt this whole game. Now we have to play better and survive this game so the backup don't get hurt, because if that happens, then we're on the third string, and then next thing you know, you got a punter trying to play quarterback or something like that. But Browning looked horrible. He looked disgusting. They got demolished on the road by Minnesota Vikings. Carson Wentz first game back as a starter, score 48-10. Nothing to see here. J.J. McCarthy, I'm not sure how long he's going to be out. Joe Burrow is out for 3 months, so Cincinnati is going to. If you're doing any placing bets, make sure you're betting responsibly. But I wouldn't place anything near Cincinnati Bengals unless you're betting on like receiving yards or receptions on Chase or Higgins, if possible, if he can even give him the ball. But he'll be benched pretty soon, I'm thinking. Next game, we had Houston Texans versus Jacksonville Jaguars. This was a back and forth game, but Jags continued to put pressure on C.J. Stroud and force a couple of interceptions. Jaguars beat the Texans at home 17-10. Next game, Raiders versus the Commanders. Raiders, they're starting to look like they're going backwards after the whole great game that Geno had week one. I like Geno, but they got demolished on the road 24-41. Next game was probably one of the game of the weeks, a great comeback. I want to tap into a couple of the numbers right quick this game. The Rams were up 26 to 20, 26 to 7 at, was that just about halftime? Just about. I think they scored early in the third quarter and put them up 26 to 7. Jalen Hurts had 18 passing yards at the time going into the halftime. After the second half, he found his rhythm, and the defense came along. They put a whole shutout the last 15, 16 minutes. Rams couldn't score anymore. But Jalen Hurts had a great performance. I want to say he threw like 200 plus yards. He had 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions that half. The first half, he was getting thrashed. I'm talking about demolished. Every time he tried to step back, he was waiting too long to throw the ball. And he was getting laid out. Um, the Rams got a little too comfortable and they had to pay the price. But look, this one I want to say because this is another topic I've said. Jalen Hurts to me is a top 10 quarterback right now, and I got him at 11 or 12. He's getting close to being a top 10, but I just can't get behind the having seeing how much talent he has, and all he does is pretty much run the ball for the most part. Nothing wrong with that, but the stigma in the NFL was always at one point that all black quarterbacks know how to do is run the ball. They don't give us credit for throwing the ball. Oh, he don't know how to throw. He can't. He doesn't have the IQ. And sometimes he fits that narrative because you won't see him throw like he'll throw dink and doinks and stuff, but you can see the receivers getting in their body language that they're getting tired of just blocking. They want you to throw them the ball, and you got the arm to do it. I'm not saying throw bombs all game, but get the ball to your receivers, move the ball down there. Once y'all get closer to the touchdown, that's when you do the run plays and all that stuff. Don't be predictable, but you have to switch it up. If you're just one sided, that's easy to game plan against. And I know some people may say, "Oh, well, if it's working and it's winning, leave it alone." No, because this happen when you do stuff like this. When it gets to the playoffs, if you think you're going to do that in the playoffs, this team is just sitting around. This is what we got to deal with: is win or go home. All he's going to try to do is run. If we could send the blitz at him, which the Chiefs did do in the Super Bowl, and they paid for it. But outside of that, it's like you're going to have to know both sides of the. You're going to be able to run the ball and pass the ball. You can't just do either or. That's what I've always seen as a football watcher. That's all I had to say on that. But great game for the Eagles to come back. They had 2 blocked field goals, including the return touchdown from I want to say was it Carter? I think it was Carter, defensive tackle, ran the fumble recovery back into the end zone after a block punt. I mean block field. Excuse me, field goal attempt. But overall, great game, game of the week. Next game, the Falcons got destroyed. Penix, he looked okay, but it looked like they're going to end up going back to Kirk Cousins real soon. They're going to end up tapping out on him. I can see it now. But Kirk Cousins sitting on the bench just waiting to get in. 30-0. The Panthers balled out. They got a couple of easy pick six on Michael Penix Jr. They put a lot of pressure on him. They wasn't letting Bijan get into the end zone to save his life. As bad as he wanted to, I thought the Falcons were going to pull it off, but they got embarrassed on the road. Next game, the Steelers versus the Patriots. I thought Patriots were going to come out and win this being at home, having this brand new team and a lot of good pieces. Diggs really ain't did too much. I thought he'd be the difference makers on that offense, but so far he's been average to me at least. But Steelers get it done on the road, 21-14. Next game was a shocker that nobody seen coming on the as far as the offensive side of the game. But you got to play both sides. Just if you got an ass offense, you better have a great defense. The Cleveland Browns currently are a top 3 defense in the league. It might not look like it, but if you look at the stats, they are in the top 3. They were just number 1. I think they're still number 1 currently going into week 4. But they defense is sticky, man. They put pressure on them boys, made it real difficult for Jordan Love to get passes off, made him force him a couple of bad passes, and that determined the win. The Cleveland Browns was able to kick the field goal at the end of the game and beat Green Bay Packers, which was a great win for the Browns. Packers, they at one point it was looked like they were going to be undefeated going in for these next couple of weeks, but somebody got on the internet and started saying in an interview, "Oh, we're going to undefeated looks real good for us right now." And as soon as he said that, boom, they get their ass whooped. But salute to Cleveland for not. It looked like they was going to be tanking this year with Joe Flacco as quarterback, but they got hard. As long as you got a good defense, man, the offense is going to have to come together. But great win. The Jets versus the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers pull off the win. Baker Mayfield walking them boys down. That's what he's been doing all year. Jets returned a field goal return, and they thought they had the game won, but Baker Mayfield pulled it off, walked them down there, and it was able to kick the field goal to win the game. The going forward, Tampa Bay will be without Mike Evans for at least, I'm thinking, 2 or 3 games. He had an injury with his hamstring this game. He's getting up there in age, but that's going to be a big piece with them having to play the defending champs next week. Well, this upcoming week. Next game was the Broncos and Chargers. Broncos, after they beat the Titans, I was thinking that they was going to be a solid defense and go and destroy boys, but they got to be able to get that offense going. Those receivers got to get a little bit more open. Bo Nix need to complete a little bit more passes. But the Chargers look good, man. I think they're going to be a solid team going into the playoffs this year, long as they stay healthy. I know Mac is down for a little bit, but once he come back, that'll put them back in the runnings. But Chargers pull off the win at home, 23-20. The Saints, the poor Saints, man, they got demolished. Looking at the number one overall pick, they got demolished by the Seattle Seahawks, 44-13. Next was another upset. The Dallas Cowboys were defeated by the Chicago Bears, 31-14. They lost CeeDee Lamb for a couple of weeks. After CeeDee Lamb went down, Chicago got a flea flicker off. They got a couple of deep bombs off. The defense was putting pressure on Dak, making him uncomfortable with his passes, and Bears was able to pull it off. Salute to the Bears. Cardinals versus the 49ers was a solid game. They went back and forth for the most part, low scoring game, but 49ers were able to pull off the win 16-15. Chiefs and the Giants, this was a game that I was concerned about because the way the Chiefs been playing starting out, I know they've had a slow start. I don't think they ever start off 0-3 in the last couple of years that Patrick Mahomes has been there, but they pulled off the win 22-9. Russell Wilson, coming off a 450-yard performance, was able to only put up 160 yards this time, and they decided, all right, we done. You had one great game, 450 yards. First game, you didn't look too good. In week 3, you didn't look too good. They have now benched him to start Jackson Dart. You can see Jackson Dart on the sideline. Every time they was calling the plays, he was looking down at his armband, making sure he understood it. So when he get out there, he'll know the lingo and how to operate with the offense. They'll have a tough task for his first game versus the Chargers going down this week as well. Monday night game I wanted to get into before I get into my team game. The Lions versus the Ravens. This, man, when you think about the Lions, they have a offense that's like an explosive offense, and that was a big key with this game. Baltimore was keeping up with them, but Baltimore defense is just suspect. The Detroit Lions defense is suspect, but they were able to put pressure on Lamar Jackson. They was able to sack him 7 times, 3 in the first half, 4 in the second half. Lamar, to me, he made some key mistakes. Instead of throwing the ball away when he's in trouble, running back, trying to scramble a lot, he decides to just keep on running, and then somebody takes him down. It's a loss of 8, loss of 6. Them yards add up. You're making the play just way longer to get that first down. So that was on him. The next thing I would say was Derrick Henry key fumble. He has now fumbled 3 times, one in each game. That pretty much cost the team the game week 1 and week 3. 28-24. He is moving the ball, left the ball behind him. Hutchinson ended up popping the ball out. Henry is a strong dude. He's going to have to take care of that ball better and be alert of people around him. And like he just need to secure that ball. I don't know what is making him go into this funk, but he got to tighten up on that. The Ravens defense just didn't look good. The Lions have Gibbs and Montgomery go for 2 touchdowns apiece. St. Brown was able to score a touchdown. And then you got Williams and Laporte out there. Like, Goff is leading these dudes. Like, I know it didn't look like too much because they only had like 200 yards passing, but they had a solid game. That defense just got to continue to play better. Arnold has to keep his hands off people, stop being too touchy-feely paws when he's out there guarding the number 1 receiver on the team. But salute to the Detroit Lions for, after taking that beating, they are now 2-1 and looking better and looking like a contender again. So salute to the Detroit Lions. Baltimore just got to be better, man. Henry got to be able to protect that ball, and Lamar got to find a way to stop scrambling so much. The offensive line got to block for him. But once they stop blocking, it's because he's the out of the quarterback range, to where if you get too far out, those offensive linemen can't follow you. It's going to lead to a legal man downfield, or them end up holding, trying to keep you from getting killed. So Baltimore got to get better if they plan on being a contender and end up maybe running against the Chiefs or Buffalo. Because that's, to me, I think those are going to be the teams that's going to be in this. One of them going to be in the Super Bowl this year. Lastly, I want to get into